So in this video we are going to discuss something called CSS units, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove these divs, right? And I'm going to remove these as well. I'm going to start a new topic called CSS units, right? So what are CSS units? You must have seen I use the terms like PX, right? There are other units as well. So if you have to use absolute units, these come like px or numbers or cm or or inch, like that, right? And there is actually a correlation between how much is 1 cm in px. I think it comes to around some 30 something. So 1 px is around, sorry, 1 centimeter is around 30 something px, right? um, let's say, what are relative units? Relative units are basically those units which are, which size themselves relative to something else. So for example, there's em, there's rem, there's percentage, and all of those, right? So how to use them, right? Let's try something. Let's say there is a div, right? We'll give it a class units, and now I'm going to create a div class unit try with id equals 1, and I'm going to copy this three times, 2 and 3, right? And I'm going to save these. What I'm going to do is unit try will have width, no, it will have height of say 200, no, we'll have 50 px, right? So all these unit tries will have a height of 50 px, alright? And ID1 will have a width of, let's say, 1 inch. 2 will have a width of 1 cm, and 3 will have a width of 20 px, right? And I'll save it. I'll save this as well. I'll go back to my this. Oh, it's not visible. That's because we need to show something. So we are going to define some background colors. Background color red, background color blue, background color aqua. We'll use some decent colors, light green. We'll use something like purple. Peru sounds nice. Yeah, light green will be very similar to aqua as well, so we'll change it. What about blue violet? Yeah, blue violet. And here I'm going to give all of these some margins so that we have a clear distinction. Margin bottom about 20 px, 30 px, and I'm going to give a border radius as well to everything. So let's say 10 px for all the corners. So all the corners will have a radius, right? So as you can see, there is a clear demarcation of what these lengths are. So 1 centimeter is 1 inch is the biggest, 1 centimeter is the next biggest, and then px, right? So that's sorry, that this is 20 px, so 20 px is this much, right? So yeah, that's the idea of absolute units. They are like fixed, right? What if I have to use relative units? So what do relative units do, right? So let's say I have units. I'll give it a font size of say 50 px, right? And here in the width, all right, sorry, yeah, this is right. In the width, I am going to say width should be 1 em of this. This should be 0.5 em of this, and this should be 0.2, this should be 2 em, right? So what this means is it will take the parent elements font size. So the parent element of these three is units, right? So the font size is 50 px. So according to that, it will create relative sizes. So 1 em is equal to 50 px, all right? That's just given. So how much should be 0.5 em? It should be 25 px, and 2 em should be 100 px, right? So yeah, as you can see, that's what it is doing. It's saying 1 em is 50 px, and that's this much, right? Let's say I increase this size to 100 px, right? So it increases it, right? So 100 px, so 1 em is now 100 px, 2 em is now 200 px. This is 1 em, this is 2 em, and 0.5 em is this, right? What is rem then? Let's say I say that body has a font size of 200 px, right? And we have units is equals 100 px, right? Now I am going to say 1 rem here, just in id1. So now what happens is rem takes the font size of the parent, like biggest parent, which is body, right? Body's font size is 200 px, so 1 rem now should be 200 px, right? Let's test that. It didn't do anything. So where is the issue? 1 rem is trying to take the font size of most likely HTML. So let's say HTML, right? Yeah. So now since it is taking the font size, it takes the font size of the root element, and root element is HTML. So HTML, like if I remove the HTML here, the root size is something else, right? Suppose I use a universal selector, then the root font size becomes 200 px, right? Now if I say 0.5 rem here, it will take 100 px, right? Yeah. But now this is also increasing. Why? Because I've used a universal selector. If I use HTML, this should reduce. Yeah, because 2 em is equals to 2 into 100, which is 200 px, right? So yeah, you have to be very careful using em and rem, because rem is for root. So if you are using rem, make sure you know what is the font size of your root. If you are using em, make sure you have the correct font size for your parent elements, right? What is percentage then, right? Let's say what we'll do is for this class units, right, we'll say width is 500 px, right? And we'll give it a background color as black. We'll use RGB actually. We'll use 0, 0, 0 and 50%, right? So what this does is it will give a transparency in a way, right? And then we'll give it a border radius of, let's say, 20 px, and we will give it some padding. So from the top 10 px, 10 px. So from all sides I want a 10 px padding, right? Now I have a 10 px padding everywhere, right? Now what I'll do is, instead of 1 rem, I am going to say 10%. This one I am going to say 75%. And this one I am going to say 50%. So what this will mean is it will take the parent element's width. So parent element's width is 500 px, right? And this one will be 10% of 500, which is 50 px. This will be 75% of 500 px, which is around 375 px, and 50% will be 250 px. So as you can see, that's what it covers, right? So that's the idea of relative units, right? So I hope in this video you have gotten a basic understanding of different kinds of classes, different kinds of units. I'll just do one more thing, just something that I didn't explore in the last video. You can also give border shadow, box shadow, like you give it to text shadow. So it is X offset, Y offset, blur, and color, right? X offset, let's say I want a 10 px X offset, 20 px Y offset. It should be, let's say, 40% blurred, and color is, let's say, red, right? So if I save it, there is a shadow. I don't know if you can see it. Let's say 10 px. Yeah, you can see the shadow now, right? So that's something that you can do as well. So yeah, that's it for the video. You have kind of understood CSS units and box shadows now. So in the next video we are going to get into something called display, and I will tell you what it is exactly then. So see you in the next video.